Alright, welcome to this next module. Here is drawing the leaves. I'm going to show you how to draw the leaves on a tree, and these are the last two trees that I have actually drawn. So I'm going to use this tree right here on the right, and I'm going to show you how to make the texture on the leaves, or textures for the leaves actually. And you could go in whenever you're drawing leaves. I mean, you could actually go in if you wanted to, and you could draw like an individual leaf, like a little leaf shape, how leaves are basically shaped, and then you can kind of shade it in like this. But if you do it that way, it's going to take you forever to get your leaves drawn. We have a better way, a quicker way that I want to show you. And this way we're going to use textures, and this is a lot faster process, and it actually makes your leaves pretty good, and you can actually fill a tree pretty good with these. So all you have to do basically to create a leaf is just make a texture, go in a round circular motion and just create a texture like this. What I'm going to do is just kind of go in a circular motion and just create a little texture leaf just like that, and it doesn't take that long. And what you want to do is just keep making little circular motions. You can make them round. You don't have to make them just perfectly round. You can make them an oval shape, and you can also just come out a little bit long ways and do it however you want to do it. And just basically it's an easy process. And what you want to do is, when you're on each little branch, you could just start out making one leaf here just like that. Then you can come beside it and make another leaf, and then you can come beside it and make another leaf, and so forth until you just create these textures. This is really a good way to do this. It's a lot faster than trying to just draw out a leaf individually. Just go in and make your textures. It doesn't take you but a second or two to make you a good texture of a leaf. It's just a simple little process. You can make them as far apart from each other as you want to on each branch, or you can make them as close together as you really want to on each branch. But this is really the best way to go about creating leaves, is just making these textures. Right now doing this, I'm actually just using a 2B pencil. You can use a 3B if you want to. Just depends on how dark you actually want your leaves to be. See how quick that is? You're just going out and making your textures, just creating your leaves. You can make some light, you can make some dark, however you really want to do that. And it really depends on, once again, your light source. Just keep in mind where you want your light source to be coming from. And there's other ways you can go about just creating these textures, and you could actually, even make it a lot quicker depending on what type of tree that you're actually drawing. One thing you can do if you just want to cover the whole limb is just do a little shading technique. You can just go in a couple of different directions. And you just kind of just shade in the shape of a leaf, doing it that way. That's a good way to do it. It's a quick way to do it, and it does give you the simulation of real texture, real leaves, and all it is just textures. What you want to do, if you're going to do it this way, you're really going to want to do the whole tree the same way, but I just want to do these two different ways just to show you how simple it is. And while you're doing it and you're creating your bunches of leaves like this, you just want to basically give it a shape while you're shading that it is going to simulate, just a bunch of leaves. Notice how I make a little point here, and then I kind of just shade out from the side to the side, on this limb here. And it's really, really a good way to do that. And you can just do like I did in the beginning here, just create your little small circles if you're wanting these type of leaves. And that's all it is just shading in a circular motion, making these little textures. And like I've said just a minute ago, once you start drawing the leaves, if you're drawing this type that I'm drawing now, you're going to want to, draw the same type throughout, for your whole tree. But I just wanted to show you the difference in the different types of textures you can actually make. It doesn't have to just be these circular textures here if you don't want them to be. But either way, they both look real nice. They make nice looking leaves. There are some trees out there that you're just going to see these type of leaves on, like I'm drawing now. But then again, you're going to look at other trees and you're going to see that they have, these type of limbs and leaves coming out on them. Kind of like a little pine tree. You have a lot of bunches of pine straw, pine needles. Other types of trees, you may have just bunches of leaves bunched together, on your limb. But it really does, either way is really a good way. And if I have a preference on which type of leaves I'd rather draw, the ones I'm doing now is really the ones I really enjoy doing, because it's quick and you can shape them, any shape that you want to shape them. Then you can actually make realistic looking leaves, on your tree with them, just like that. The only thing about drawing these type of leaves here, they look okay if you just leave them the way they are. See all the white space, the gaps here? Most of the time when you're drawing these type of textured leaves, you're going to want to actually make your tree look a little more full. So therefore you're going to want to actually lightly just shade some textures, leaving a little bit of white space and just kind of simulating, there are some lighter color leaves, that is there. That's one good way that you want to do these type of leaves. But when you're doing these type of leaves right here on the right, then you can not really worry so much about any of the gaps, because typically what you would do, you would actually draw your sky out first, and then your sky would be filling up a lot of this white space, and then you would just draw the textures of your leaves just like this. So these are two good ways to draw leaves, and all they are is just making, textures. It's a whole lot faster than just trying to just draw out each individual leaf. You could be here all day working on just the leaves of a tree if you were just trying to perfectly draw out the leaves, one by one, the way they should be. This right here is really a fast way of doing it, and it's a good way of doing it. You're going to find out, as you draw different types of trees, you're going to wind up, just creating different types of textures for your leaves. For instance, if you were doing a spruce tree, or some people know them as a Christmas tree, then basically what you would do with those, you would go out, and if you'd go out and look at a real spruce tree and see how the textures of those leaves that really are, most of the times they look like they're just a lot of lines, and you would just kind of draw the lines in this shape, something to that effect, like that. That you could just do that if you were actually just drawing a spruce tree. And you want to just look at what kind of tree that you're actually drawing. So it's really good to go out and study all types of trees and all kinds of trees, whether it be a maple tree, whether it be a spruce tree, or a dogwood, just whatever type it is. Then you can pretty much use a texture to simulate those shapes of those leaves. And that's all it is. So it's a whole lot faster just creating the textures. Like if you were drawing a dogwood, you could actually just give the shape with a texture, of the dogwood leaf. You could just work it, any way you really want to work it, and just you can just do it. Take it slow and just study the trees and study the the way the shapes of the leaves are. But just use these textures. That's the simplest way to do it. And the best two ways are the ways that I've shown you here to do it. Now, when you're actually doing these textures this way and you're drawing bunches of leaves, it's really good because you can actually take half, areas of these leaves, and you can just darken them in and just give it a little bit of character to them, just by darkening in, a portion of the leaves, especially kind of around the edges, maybe up the middle of them. You could also do the same with these. You can make some of these a little darker, if you wanted to. Leave some a little lighter. Like I said, it's just depending on where your light source is coming from, or where you want your light source to come from while you're actually drawing your landscapes. So just keep practicing these techniques, just making these little round textures to create these type of leaves. Just make a little round circle of textures. And to create these leaves, just go out and make you a little point and just go out and just shade from side to side like that down the branches. You don't want to cover the whole branch, of course, but just a good portion of the branch. And these are good ways to make textures for leaves. So keep practicing your leaves, practice your trees, and then when you're ready to go on to the next module, then we will show you how to do water, how to draw water, how to create reflections in the water, and then we'll move on to something else after that. But keep practicing your trees, and when you feel comfortable about your trees and your leaves, then move on to the next module.